This is a live Channels Television event.
Partnership Law number 015 of 2021, Ebonyi State Public Sector Audit Amendment Law 2021. These have gone a long way and will continue to offer a solid foundation for the economy of our dear states. It is therefore our position as a lawmaker in the state that you, Your Excellency, must not relent in your quest to place Ebonyi State on the global map. As we congratulate you on your giant stride, we implore you, Your Excellency, to always sustain the appropriate consultation that have long existed between the executive, legislative, and judicial arm of government in the state. On our part, we are ever ready to get to work and thoroughly examine and scrutinize the appropriation bill to ensure that it passes speedily for timely implementation. Therefore, distinguished members of this great Hallowed Chamber, I invite our leader, the Governor of Ebonyi State, Engineer Chief David Umahi, to deliver your speech and lay before us the 2022 budget proposal for the consideration of Ebonyi State House of Assembly in accordance with the provision of Section 121 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. I thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you. We know the clap here.
Please be seated. Mr. Speaker, Ebonyi State House of Assembly, the Deputy Speaker, Ebonyi State House of Assembly, the Leader of the House of Assembly, the principal officers of this great House of Assembly of Ebonyi State, the honorable members, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, our dear party chairman, Chairman of APC Ebonyi State. I was waiting to see the chairman of PDP and other chairmen of other political parties. I hope we invite them next time. Your Excellency is the former Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, who is the Vice Chancellor of Ebonyi State University, and Her Excellency, the wife of the former Deputy founding father, the chairman of Elders Council is present here. All the legislators in the House, I can see some non-sitting senators, House of Representatives, and also House of Assembly of Ebonyi State, the Secretary to Government of Ebonyi State, the Honorable Commissioners, especially Commissioner for Justice and Commissioner for Finance, the Chairman of Southeast Traditional Rulers Council, and other traditional fathers, our revered Father Abraham Wali, who is the Senior Special Assistant on Religious and Welfare Matters, who is also the chairman of CAN Southeast, all the men and women of God in the house, senior special assistants, the chairman of our local government, our coordinator, senior government official. Sorry for the mix-up. I'm told that my lord, the CJ, Chief Judge of Ebonyi State, is here, and some other judges. My dear brothers and sisters, and of course, the clerk of this house, and all the staff and members of the Commission of Ebonyi State House of Assembly Service Commission, and all the aides to our dear lawmakers. My dear brothers and sisters, this is an address presented by me on the occasion of the presentation of the 2022 budget estimates and appropriation bill of Ebonyi State government to Ebonyi State House of Assembly this day, the 1st of December, 2021. Mr. Speaker, I'm delighted to be in these hallowed chambers today to present to this honorable House the 2022 budget estimates and appropriation bill of Ebonyi State government as prescribed by Section 121 of the 99 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. This budget is Christian budget of latter rain, which contains a comprehensive financial plan that will optimize the emerging opportunities we have curated as government and reveal the hidden treasures in our economic investments. In line with the policy thrust of our administration, we have continued to prioritize those projects and programs that will enhance the welfare of the people and empower them to be self-reliant through the compassionate delivery of transparent and God-fearing governance that is based on integrity and dignity. In achieving our mission, we have savored the unfettered cooperation and solidarity of the 6th Assembly, ably led by the Speaker, Right Honorable Francis Ebonyi and your team. Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, floor functionaries and honorable members, through your deep sense of legislative responsibility, our administration has continued to attain great heights in its developmental aspirations. We have remained focused in putting in place economic facilities and social conditions that will set our state on irreversible path of greatness. Though we encounter daunting socio-economic challenges in the year 2021, especially on the issue of insecurity, COVID-19 pandemic and economic downturn, but we were moved by the divine power to accomplish the mission of 2021 budget of stability and consolidation in a recession. Overview of 2021 budget achievements. Mr. Speaker, we shall be constrained by time to mention our modest achievements in the last 1 year, but it's imperative to mention that we have completed some of the road construction work we started in 2021 financial year. We are happy that our desire to connect 8 local government areas in North and Central zones with about 198-kilometer ring road has recorded a major breakthrough this year, as Phase 1 and Phase 2 have been successfully awarded and are being executed. Our government had earlier on completed from Africa Development Bank. The project is being financed by African Development Bank. The state government is dualizing the major highways and major state roads. Let me mention that out of the 198 kilometers of the ring road that our government has completed, 48 kilometers on our own and with our state funds, leaving a balance of 150 kilometers which is being financed by Africa Development Bank. This effort has put Ebonyi on the map as one of the states to build a network of roads in infrastructure in our nation, Nigeria. In our efforts to industrialize the state, we believe that construction of flyovers We prepare Ebonyi State as an emerging economy to host investors of different sectors of the economy. We save lives and we absorb the employable population of our youths and women. We have not only completed some of the flyovers we started, we have also commenced this construction of more flyovers in strategic junctions. These projects will no doubt boost economic activities and create conviviality of atmosphere for industrialization in Ebonyi State. We have added vigor to our determination to curate the basic social amenities that will turn around the socio-economic fortunes of the people of Ebonyi State. The Oferekwe Water Scheme and the Ezilo Water Scheme are being made to complete the water scheme of Ativo, Uburu, and Okawu to make water available to the rural communities. We have sufficiently appropriated funds to ensure an impressive progress in the international airport. Construction work is on top gear. We are completing work on the terminal building, apron unit, local and international, runway unit with 50% earthworks already completed and 60% stone base. Fire bay tower control unit, which has 10 floors, police building, immigration building, presidential lodge, car park, gatehouse, and generator house. The entire project is sitting on about 5.3 square kilometers of land area with 3.16 kilometers of runway. We are sure of competing with the best international airport in Nigeria when completed and shall create jobs and business opportunities for the people of the state. Our vision to create human capital through solid tertiary education and healthcare delivery system have resonated in the establishment of King David Mweze Umahi University of Medical Sciences by administration. The university will not only be one of the reference universities of the world, but also really curb incidents of medical tourism in Nigeria and shall create jobs for the teeming youths and generate revenue for the state. As part of our public-private partnership initiatives, we are engaging the Catholic Bishops' Conference and other interested private investors in partnership discussions so that we can have the best management and discipline envisaged for the university. Mr. Speaker, and this great House of Assembly, we thank you for passing our public-private partnership law, which I have since assented to. We have anchored the construction of a microcosm of the Dubai Mall concept, which has the best facilities you can see anywhere in the world. It has 5 floors from the basement to the penthouse with 6 escalators and 7 elevators. It is the biggest mall ever built by any government in Africa. This shopping mall is strategically located beside the State Christian Ecumenical Center en route at the President Muhammad Buhari Light Tunnel Bridge Complex, which makes the environment much more amazing. Private investors and our people are already rushing for shops allocations. We are expanding the Margaret Umahi International Market through sale of unutilized spaces to investors and other market organizations. The international market has numerous lots and warehouses with facilities that can be found in modern markets of advanced countries of the world. We are developing industrial clusters in each of the 3 senatorial zones. We hope that this will be replicated before we exit and that the subsequent government is going to take on, so that at the end of age, all the 13 local governments would have an industrial agric clusters. This cluster, when completed, shall absorb our teeming youth and women in small and medium-scale enterprises, and this will boost our initiative for self-reliance and self-sufficiency. We have done a lot to raise the quality of education and human capital in the state. We have provided a good environment for learning through the construction of modern classroom blocks and equipping of our teachers. We have provided formal and non-formal education for our business men and women, and those in vocational trades, including artisans, craftsmen, and technicians, through the establishment of adult schools and vocational colleges. We have curated a very special secondary school, which is King David Gifted Academy, where we train our children free of charge, always the best of the best, and we have handed over the school to the Catholic community to run. We have provided 5,000 employment opportunities to our civil servants at the state and local government levels in our 2022 budget, and we have also provided 2,000 youths and women, 200 youths and women per local government area to access the 3 billion NSAS empowerment program from January 2022. We have made very robust arrangements for security. The instrument we have that we intend to complete soon is such that in a wireless form, we can stay in a location and view all the junctions and strategic locations within the boundaries of Ebonyi State. The viewing center is equipped with radio, televisions, and internet. We won't tell you where the location is. We have established Ebubago security outfits to complement the efforts of the conventional security outfits. And let me commend Ebubago and their commanders. We are very satisfied. Every night I participate in monitoring. I see the Ebubago outfit doing tremendously very well. Thank you very much. Today we have greater security collaborations, and this has produced enhanced security in the state. We have recruited more youths and women in this regard. And when the issue of state police is approved, we hope that Ebubago is going to benefit from that feat. Time will not permit me to mention the modest efforts we have made in the course of the implementation of 2021 budget, now revised. However, mention must be made of the new narrative of self-actualization, sense of self-worth, and new face of transformed state which we now celebrate. Today we can raise our heads high to say that we are from Ebonyi State. Today we can boldly say that the actualization of this administration have the capacity to guarantee the future of our people, and we can be proud that the accomplishments have satisfied the dreams and aspirations of our founding fathers. Kudos to our founding fathers that are living, and may God rest the souls of those who have departed. In Jesus' name, amen. Through the power of God, we have remained faithful to our forebearers and true to our manifestos. We believe that our administration is God's project to give hope to a people who were once written off in the Committee of States. We thank God that Ebonyi State today has broken the jinx and can today pursue the cause of self-actualization, which was the dream of our founding fathers. We give God glory, all the glory for the great things He has done in Ebonyi State. We can say today in governance history that Ebonyi State has got a record as the most prudent state in the use of public resources in Nigeria. Abuja Budget Office 2021 State of States Report. The best state in capital implementation / investment in capital projects, and the best state in Nigeria in economic growth Budget Office 2021 State of State Report. The second best state in 2021 Physical Performance Rating Budget Office 2021 State of States Report. The least indebted state in Southeast and fourth least indebted state in Nigeria. Only 3 states ahead of Ebonyi State in Nigeria, Budget Office 2021. Now, people thought that the miracles of Ebonyi are based on bank loans, but the truth remains that a miracle remains a miracle. The first best on controlled borrowings in Nigeria and the best in Southeast Budget Office 2021 State of States Report. The first best investment towards self-reliance, road to states viability. Above average in maternal mortality ratio 2021 World Bank State of States Health Index. One of the 10 best states in economic development performance, Philip Performance Index of the year 2020. One of the most sustainable states in Nigeria, 2020 State Physical Sustainability Index. One of the largest producers of rice in Nigeria in the year 2021, Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment. The second best in empowerment and job creation in Southeast Natural Bureau of Statistics 2020. A local government area in Ebonyi State is ranked as having the highest number of students that gained admission into Nigeria universities. That's equal local government. I also rank Ebonyi State students who attended Ebonyi State Secondary School as the best performing JAM student in medicine and surgery from Ohuku local government area in 2017 NUC Education Index. One of the 10 best states in 2018 WAEC ranking, and it has continued to be in favor of Ebonyi State. Let me say that since 2015, in this index, we have never gone beyond the 10th position. Today, we no longer belong to the League of Educationally Disadvantaged States. Today, inferiority complex has been completely erased. I must concede that our modest achievements are a product of the legislative commitment of our House of Assembly, which our dear Speaker and his colleagues has continued to shoulder since the Divine Mandate administration came on board. I therefore wish to seize this opportunity to convey the assurances of the profound gratitude, esteemed regards, and best wishes of the state government to the Right Honourable Speaker, the principal officers, the Deputy Speaker, and all the revered members of the State House of Assembly, as well as their supporting staff and their spouses. Revised 2021 budget overview as at 30th of September 2021. Mr. Speaker, let me specially thank you and your colleagues for approving the revision of 2021 budget to accommodate our financial shortfall arising from the tight economic conditions in the last 1 year. The economic realities occasioned by national security challenges, COVID-19 pandemic, and wanton business destruction during the struggle by agitators caused a slash of the 2021 budget from 122.852 billion to 99.157 billion. The State House of Assembly recently approved the revised budget, which has a reduction of 23.694 billion, which is 19.29% reduction from the original 2021 approved budget. The revised 2021 budget has a total recurring budget of 40.702 billion, which is 41.05% of the approved revised budget. And capital budget has a total of 54.45 billion, which is 58.95% of the revised budget. You can see the pictorial representation of 2021 revised budget. 2021 budget performance, January to 30th of September 2021. Mr. Speaker, as at the 30th of September 2021, we have a budget performance of 64.63% on the revised budget, and do hope to achieve more than 95% budget performance by December ending 31st, 2021. The recurrent expenditures, personnel. As at September 2021, we spent a total of 9.524 billion on personnel costs out of the revised personnel budget of 12.713, attaining 74.92 budget performance. On the overhead, let me digress a little to talk about this overhead. You know, when I asked why overhead is a little bit high, I discovered that the pensions of civil servants and gratuity, every loan obtained by government are all charged to overhead costs. But the public, we only understand overhead as those things that the government is using to run government. So in overhead, we have overhead and other recurring expenses. So that's how we should bear in mind overhead going forward. And so in overhead costs, we have spent a total of 17.56 billion out of a revised budget of 27.988 billion, attaining 62.75% performance. On the capital expenditure, we have spent a total of 36.994 billion. I want the world to know that all that we've achieved as of September on capital project only took us 36.994 billion, and this is out of a revised budget of 54 billion, and we have attained 63.2% budget performance. The tables are there. The sectorial budget performance of 2021 revised budget, January to 30th of September 2021. In administrative sector, which the House of Assembly belongs, we have spent a total of 13.007 billion out of a total budget of 21.338 billion, attaining budget performance of 60.96%. On the economic sector, we have spent 46.04 billion out of, we spent a total of out of a budget, revised budget of 46.104 billion, we've spent 30.063 billion, attaining 65.21% budget performance. On the law and justice sector, that's where the judiciary belongs, we have spent a total of 1.174 billion out of a total revised budget of 1.49 billion, attaining a performance of 79.15%. And you can see with me that our laws and autonomy of judiciary and legislature are fully at work in Ebonyi State. On the regional and social sectors, the regional and social sector, we have achieved 81.91% and 65.58% respectively. This sectorial performance index is informed by administration's policy trust, which favors economic regeneration through the provision of critical infrastructure for our people, development of our healthcare delivery, and human capital enhancement through education and empowerment. The table shows all the performances. We have analyzed the 5 heavy spending MDAs. The Ministry of Infrastructure Development for Concession, Education, Health, Works and Transport and Human Capital Development received priority budgetary attention because of their place in the socio-economic well-being of the people, including agriculture. The 5 ministries got a budgetary provision of 58% of the total 2021 revised budget, which sums to 57.512 billion. The recurrent expenditure of this, we have spent a total of 11.349 billion out of a budgetary expenditure of revised for this of 40.702 billion. In the capital, we have 27.757 billion out of a budget of 36.994 billion. The tables 3A and 3B of pages 12 and 13 and 3C of page 14 also are the testimonies of what we have done. The highlights of 2022 budget estimates. Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, the Leader of the House, Principal Officers of this House of Assembly, and Honorable House of Assembly members, our dear stakeholders and leaders, the Constitution of Nigeria commands me as Governor to cause to be laid before the House of Assembly at any time before the commencement of each financial year estimates of the revenue and expenditures of the state for the following financial year. Mr. Speaker, do they drink water in your house?
Yes.
Okay. Your governor needs water. I therefore most respectfully present to this honorable House a total budget estimate of 145,410,597,000 723 naira 49 kobo, only covering the capital and recurrent expenditure for the financial year ending 2022 tagged budget of latter rain. This 2022 budget estimates represent an increase of 46.65% over the revised approved budget of 2021, which is 99,157,171,152 naira 64 kobo. The 46.65% increase of the 2022 budget over the 2021 revised budget is due to the carryover of a large part of the expected receipts in this 2021 fiscal year to the next fiscal year. These reasons for the increase and more are clearly listed in the body of the main budget under the explanatory notes. The following expected receipts will happen in our 2022 fiscal year, of which some of them were expected receipts in our 2021 budget, which could not happen and are now deferred to 2022 fiscal year. We expect about 4.315 billion from TED Fund, which is the balances of all the ongoing, TED Fund projects, for our tertiary institution. UBEB growth of over 1.2 billion from the BESDA, sectors of 16.727 billion on the sector programs. World Bank COVID grants of 1 billion, Federal Government of Nigeria bridging finance loan of 18.225 billion, and of course, in all we have a budget deficit financing of 7 billion, which we intend to approach the Commercial Bank on the approval of the budget by this House of Assembly to finance the 2022 budget deficits. While the proposed capital expenditure is 89.763 billion or 61.73% of the total budget, the recurrent expenditure is 55.646 billion or 38.27% of total budget. This proportion of 67.73% capital to 38.27% recurrent, or ratio of 1.6 capital to 1 recurrent, is structured bearing in mind our determination to deepen our capital project development, especially the completion of all the ongoing projects in Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, summary of expenditure differential of 2022 budget and 2021 revised budget. The 2022 budget estimate records 46.65% increase from 2021 revised budget. The capital expenditure increased by 53.56% from 2021 budget, while the 2022 recurrent is 36.72% higher than the 2021 budget, as shown in the table below. We have the tables. And so we have some heavy spending MDAs. In our determination to complete our projects, tackle education and human capital development, and engage our people through agriculture and entrepreneurship programs, we have prioritized the following subsectors: education, works, infrastructure, agriculture, human capital development, and health sectors. These 6 critical subsectors got a total of 77.47 billion, covering 53.28% of the entire budget, while other subsectors have a total of 67.94 billion, covering 46.72% of the budget sum, as shown in our table 5. The sum of 24.397 billion is for the Ministry, the subsector of education and the education subsector, which accounts to 16.78% of the total budget. While the Ministry of Infrastructure Development for Construction is having the sum of 17.498 billion, covering 12.03% of the entire budget. The Ministry of Works and Transport is having 24.335 billion, which is 16.74% of the entire budget. Of course, we made sure that education has more budget than the Ministry of Works. The Ministry of Human Capital Development has a total of 3.612 billion, or 2.48% of the entire budget. The Ministry of Health got 7.626 billion, which is 5.24% of the total budget. The reason for this is that we are at a critical stage in our healthcare sectors, where we have to complete the equipping of our health sectors in the 14 general hospital and the new hospital. And we also have determination in the coming year to deepen discussion with the Ebonyi State University on the issue of a teaching hospital. Presently, they are sharing the teaching hospital with Alex Ekweme Federal University, and have approached me to say we can establish our own teaching hospital, and I'm saying yes, but I want empirical evaluation of a program that will be tagged self-sustaining program for Ebonyi State University, because I know they're passing through a lot in terms of paying salaries, and they are the ones to solve that problem, because they have to look inwards on how to reduce the staff strength that are unduly employed. They have no place to run. They have to invent themselves. And this is the reality. And let me also say, by way of digression, that the committee that was set up to go around the Southeast and other states to see what is being done did not do a good job, because their job was to find out what other universities are doing around Southeast that we can learn as a mechanism of peer review and deploy in our university. But they went around and started saying government should do this, government should do that. That is not how to run a university. So we have determined as government to set up visitation panel to that university, and are sure that our university will be in its topmost form in the few months coming. Let me also warn that the ASU disturbances in the past 6 years in that university must stop. No one person is bigger than the university. After 7 days and they are unable to sort out their problems, I will approach the court to give me the powers to dissolve the unions there, so that we can breathe well and they work together to see how we can assist the VC and his team to move that university forward. The squabbles there is very unnecessary. It doesn't allow for government assistance nor government proper evaluation of what is going on there. I am determined today to put a stop to rascality that is going on there in the name of unionism. The Minister of Agriculture has been allocated the sum of 3.425 billion, covering 2.38% of 2022 budget. The Minister of Agriculture has been given a special consideration at 2022 budget. We clearly mapped out a multi-dimensional approach for this critical subsector. In the course of the 2022 fiscal year, there will be provision of grants to farmers, provision of hybrid agricultural inputs in agricultural development goals, support to increase food production, labor, intensive agricultural infrastructure, upgrading wet markets, and grants to civil servants who are interested in animal husbandry. We shall assess agricultural intervention by the World Bank, CBN, and other developmental partners and donor agencies to keep alive our administration's policy direction on agriculture. Let me specially thank His Excellency, Mr. President, who had since February this year approved over 6-point-something billion to the Solid Mineral Development Fund, is an MD of the federal government, to develop limestone granules in Okoto to show up agricultural program, not just for Ebonyi State, but also for the entire Southeast and South-South. Let me say that that program is on, and within the next few months, that project will be completed and Mr. President will be called to commission it. Similar, his program on salt, we are deeply very grateful, so that very soon there will be nothing like importation of salt. Remember, Ebonyi State is the salt of our nation. We hope that through the funding of this critical subsector, more visas of opportunities for job and work creation will be created to achieve our missions of enhanced food security, self-sufficiency, and self-reliance. Areas of great attention in 2022 fiscal year. Mr. Speaker, we shall make effort to give more employment to our people from January 2022. That program is being handled separately, the House of Assembly handling theirs, the Judiciary handling theirs, and Deputy Governor is heading our own committee for the executive. That has increased our recurrent expenditure. We also have very committed plans towards the empowerment of our people, not just cash transfer, but also setting up a number of SMEs for our people. Our people should expect cash transfer also from the state government. That has also increased both our recurrent and capital expenditure. Ceteris paribus. That's all that's been equal. There are also more empowerment programs in our budget, apart from the cash transfer and the NG case programs of the federal government. We are definitely going to pursue industrialization, empowerment, and setting up businesses for our children. The empowerment process is ongoing and is going to get expanded next year, but I'm very much convinced of Abakaliki to Afibo and Abakaliki to Enugu had started, and we hope to achieve over 80% completion before the end of 2022. This will be a great thing that will happen to our state, coupled with 198 kilometer of ring road. The African Development Bank just came the other day, and we are talking on how to also put asphalt on this 8-thick concrete. It means that the roads will be lasting by the time we come after the rapture. It will still be there. And we will allocate the roads that time to Osolo, whom I'm sure is going to be left behind. The 2 new flyovers is a must, one by Hausa Quarter, which has started, and the other one by the Timber Shade in Afibo. We also have plans of doing more roads in each of our local government areas with a caveat. Every local government area stakeholders will determine whether they want their money for empowerment, as stomach infrastructure, or they want the 5 kilometers of internal road. If you want to make an omelette, a saying says you have to break an egg. So we have 6 billion that is targeted to complete this 65 kilometers of road. Aside from this 65 kilometers of road, we also have some road intervention that we started that is not completed. There is one in Amegu, there is one in Izi, there is one in Ameka, there is one in Oriuzo, there is one in Mbo, there is one in my community, and the one in Onitsha local government. So we have requested for advertisement for consultants to come and design these roads, but we need the names, not later than the end of this week. If we don't get the names of the roads from stakeholders, we will use our initiative. By the time the ring road is completed, Ebonyi State economic indices, progress and prosperity can never be reversed by anybody. In our bid to ensure flood control and proper water channelization, especially in the capital city and other flood and erosion-prone areas, our administration has continued to inject funds through Nigeria Erosion and Watershed Management Project, NUMAP, for flood intervention. We have so far tackle the Ebia River flood, the Odunkwe Nkaliki Hatchery flood, Iyokwu International Market flood, EU Dele River flood, and the Nguzueda Gully erosion. We are committed to injecting more funds in flood intervention, promote climate change adaptation, and support biodiversity conservation in the Committee of States. Let me again thank Mr. President very highly for approving money for ecological fund at the King David University. It's a wonderful, great feat which will sustain the university. And also for his ecological intervention at the Salt Lake in Uburu. To mention at this point that we have complied with the issue of autonomy of the House of Assembly, even though Mr. Speaker said, will this autonomy work? I said, Mr. Speaker, the autonomy means that you'll be seeing me without a file. And this is a great miracle for me and for my finances. And the judiciary also, and we have signed into law the full autonomy of local government councils. Every kobo of the local government goes directly to the 13 local government accounts. Every local government now funds being accountable by the local government CEOs. They decide what they do with their money. Let me mention that apart from common facilities we get like other states, our administration will not owe any commercial loan as a state by the time we exit in 2023. At this juncture, let me specially thank all who have helped us in attaining this divine actualization. Mr. Speaker, our thanks go to God Almighty. Our gratitude goes to God Almighty. What we see in Ebonyi State is simply a miracle, because if you match side by side our expenditures and the miracles of Ebonyi State, there is no way you can equate the two. So all I can say is that they attacked the miracles of the state given to us by God Almighty. And I implore Ebonyi people to be very grateful to God, to rise up morning, afternoon, and night and give praise to God. Because if you praise God for the ones He has done, then He will do more. Mr. Speaker, you have placed in the history of the development of our state. We are very thankful to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our dear Mr. President Muhammad Buhari, for the numerous assistance we have enjoyed from his administration and his personal family relationship that has given us an edge as a state. Let me say that he does also for other states, and sometimes even more. But we must be thankful as children of God, as God requires of us. We thank the wife of Mr. President and the First Lady, Her Excellency Ms. Aisha Buhari, for always speaking for us, and for taking my wife as her very dear daughter and favoring her even above others. We also appreciate the Vice President, our dear Professor Yemi Osibanjo, and your dear wife. We are very grateful for your commitment, your loyalty, your honesty, and deployment to Mr. President and the Nigerian people in your efforts to assist Mr. President to move this country forward. Let me also thank our dear Senate President Alhaji Ahmed Lawan, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbajimali, water again. And all the single members of the National Assembly, including our dear National Assembly members, especially Honorable Chinedu Oga, and our dear brother, the CBN Governor, His Excellency Godwin Emifele, the Honorable Minister of Finance and Budget and National Planning, our dear sister Zinab Ahmed, and all the CEOs of MDAs of the federal government for their kind support to our administration. Let me offer my thanks to my cherished wife and friend, Her Excellency Chief Mrs. Richard Umahi, and my dear children, my pastor, Ms. Eunice Oyemi, and Divine Mandate Pastor, the Southeast and Ebonyi State Camp leadership, ably led by Reverend Father Dr. Abraham Mwali. Founding fathers, stakeholders, and my family members for being my source of strength and inspiration. I'm indebted to the House of Assembly very highly, the judiciary, the State Executive Council, APC leadership at all levels, and other political parties' leadership for their distractions. My Deputy Governor and my dear brother Umahi, the security agencies, the traditional rulers, founding fathers, elders, council chairmen, coordinators of our development centers, our dear market women, Akobaro Youth Assembly, Richard Umahi women, and indeed all the support groups of this administration and even opposition parties. If you don't have opposition, you have to pray for one. They are very necessary tools for the advancement of any man, but it has to be constructive opposition. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, let me take our time to thank you very highly, Mr. Speaker, the Deputy Speaker. It
would be very wrong of us if we do not honor him by doing what is not normal of this assembly. Mr. Speaker, this man is also going to be the testing waters of this nation. It is in this man that I will actually ascertain if indeed Nigerians are yearning for the solutions to their problem. That by 2022, when the primaries of our parties will be conducted, it is by what the party does that I will be sure if this nation actually needs transformation, needs redemption. This man, who is so unique, happens to be a successful businessman, a successful administrator, one who has distinguished himself in an unprecedented manner. I'm talking about His Excellency, the Governor of our dear state, Engineer Dr. Chief Apostle Deacon David Mweze Umahi, the leader of our party and the founder of our new Ebonyi, of visions. Our forefathers had dreams, but I'm sure those who struggle for the creation of Ebonyi never envisaged there will be a moment in our history that Ebonyi will become the global reference point for good reasons. Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, I rise to move a motion that this honorable house do receive this man with both clapping and a standing ovation. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder of the motion? Yes, Honorable N145.
Thank you, most distinguished Speaker. My name is Honorable N145, and I represent the excellent people with an excellent performance of our Hausa West constituency. I rise this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, to second the motion in place by the leader of the House with all the wonderful eulogies, and I so second.
Those in support that the motion moved by the leader that the rule of this honorable house be suspended to enable us to do very just thing that we needed to do in this hallowed chamber, say aye.
Aye.
Against any? The ayes have it. The rule of the house is hereby suspended. This standing will moderate it in this way. Is standing for justice, is standing for truth, is standing for infrastructural development, is standing for separation of power, is standing for rule of law, and is standing for a leader who has bestowed on us name called Ebonyi. We were not known before today anywhere in the world. We were ashamed to identify ourselves as Ebonyi man. But today we are proud to say, yeah, I'm from Ebonyi. Many of us that are living at Abuja can attest to this. On this note, distinguished colleagues and leaders of our dear state that are at the gallery, the speaker is standing. That means everybody in this hallowed chamber is standing. And on this note, distinguished members, we should start clapping for our leader for well-deserved applause. Thank you for the show of love. Thank you for your resilience. Thank you for the show of love. Thank you for obeying us, especially our leaders at the gallery. Distinguished colleagues, we must stand until the people at the gallery can sit down. We have the opportunity to sit down. Let us perform our ritual now. This is our temple. So whatever that is happening at the Temple of Justice is happening there at the judiciary. So this is the temple of the parliament. So whatever that is happening here now, you should leave us to do that. You can now sit down, those at the gallery, and allow us to do justice to some of the items in the other paper by standing and be clapping for His Excellency as our own father. Well, thank you. This clap is not for the building of this hallowed chamber, which I can attest to what this place used to be. It's like a clapping for a teacher at the secondary or primary school or kindergarten. So I don't think it's a clapping for our leader. Thank you, and thank you, and let us also clap for our party, the All Progressive Congress. And I expect those. Look at them very well. See them very well. Those that didn't clap, can we say hey yeah to them? For saying that you are hereby ruled out of order. You cannot talk until this sitting and next sitting is concluded. Distinguished colleagues, when His Excellency the Governor gets into this chamber, the tempo and the arena changed. And you can see that the light didn't shake. Did it shake? No. That means everything is very conducive. Your Excellency will do very extraordinary thing by getting us up by the leader of the House, and he had educated us who you are, listening to him very well as the custodian of the government bills in this hallowed chamber. He has said a lot of you, and he has told us what you've been able to do and what the government has achieved. As the Speaker, I preside for the good and the bad, and we've been able to observe a lot of your contributions towards the development of the legislative arm of government. Our training has gone far. Many of us here are now today member institutes of chartered arbitration. Some are member chartered institute of mediation, conciliation, and the negotiation. All courtesy of you, and personally, we have gotten a lot of innovation and a lot of skill through your training, and we've been able to learn a lot from you, and we want to continue thanking you, standing up, thanking you. All of us are standing, and it's very unnormal for a speaker to get up and be talking. But this is an extraordinary thing. The rule of the House is suspended. But we get up to thank you, Your Excellency, because you deserved that thank. We get up to say kudos to you. We get up to say, may God give you grace, give you love, give you the understanding, continue giving you the goodness. You have been doing very well, but we need more goodness from you, especially as we are getting to 2022, when we know that relationship will take more at the center stage than infrastructure. And that relationship, we implore you, Your Excellency, to accept it as it is coming. Many of us are also very much eager, waiting for the relationship, expecting that more relationship, more robust discussion from the House of Assembly. We are your children. We are not divided, courtesy of you. No intervention, nobody ever intervened in the affair of the House. No disaffection, no contradiction anywhere. We thank your wife. Many a times, the success of the House starts with the family of the governor. Their family has been very exceptional, good to the members of this assembly. They have been giving us more freedom to work. None of them ever interfered on the affair of the House of Assembly. Likewise, you yourself, many of them learned from you, and they do marvelously, very well, unexpectedly. We never think so. So we thank all of them. We thank your wife. We thank your family members, your children. Today, there is nothing like father and son excellencies as it was, but the development is something that we all talked about in Ebonyi State. Nobody talks about individuals. So we implore you, Your Excellency, as you are thinking of bowing out in 2023, Your Excellency, try as much as possible, as you are bowing out, to get to the heart of Mr. President, the heart of the southern Nigerians, the heart of the northern Nigeria, because we have a solution in you of our dear country. Our country is facing a lot of challenges. We need infrastructural development. One, we must start from somewhere, as Ebonyi did. Today we have something to hold. We have something to say. We have something to beckon on in Ebonyi. Today we are first in so many areas of infrastructure and economic development. Today we can stay on our own. Today we can pay salary without relying on the federal government. A lot of things is already happening today. So we know if the federal government gives you that opportunity, with the help of your friend, Mr. President, and the wife, you will do more better at the federal level, because that is where you deserve to be. Ebonyi is too small for you. We have been watching you presiding over your budgetary issues and sometimes discussing the audit accounts and so many other professional things. You are not an accountant. We know that you are not from that corporate or nor the firm of that accountant, but you do very well, better than those that have ICANN certificates. We've been seeing so many ICANN certificates officers in Facebook where they are castigating you, but none of them have ever castigated you on the point of law, on the point of their own profession. We have been waiting for them to either castigate you professionally or castigate you regularly in a manner and in a way that they will have a fact in issue to lay hand on. But unfortunately to them, they have not been able to hold something and say this is what they are criticizing the government for. So we are very much proud of you, Your Excellency. On this note, I call on all of you, my distinguished colleagues, to bow to our dear leader, the governor of Ebonyi State, and we will now sit down. Thank you, Your Excellency. Then leader of the House return the...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues. Having done what is necessary for us to do, arise to move a motion that the House should be put in place again to enable us regulate the proceedings of this honorable House. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Yes, I'm a vehicle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues. Honorable Kinsley Ogbonna Ikoro, member representing Afikpo Northwest constituency. I stand to second the motion as moved by the leader of the House. I so second.
Those in support that the rule of the House be normalized and returned back to status quo as it was in last 3 minutes, by last 5 minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Against any nay. The ayes have it. The rule of the House hereby returned. Yes.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues. I am Chiku Victor Ozoma, I represent the Son of West. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion that this House to allow this appropriation bill to go into second reading. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Yes, Deputy Leader, this is your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues. I stand this morning to second the motion that the budget as presented by His Excellency do enter second reading. I so second.
Those in support that this appropriation bill presented before us, having passed first reading at this Sallow chamber, be allowed to go into second reading, say aye.
Aye.
Against any nay. The ayes have it. The appropriation bill is hereby allowed to go into second reading. The Leader of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HAB number 017 of 2021. A bill for a law to appropriate the amount stated in the budget by His Excellency is for second reading. Mr. Speaker, leading the debate in the second reading, I want to say that the essence of this second reading is to discuss the merits and the demerits of this bill. And I am going to be speaking from the standpoint of the merits of the bill. Mr. Speaker, the Parliament is a creation of the law, and we draw our powers of oppression.
Center on the bill. Straight.
That's what I'm saying. From the provisions of the law. And what I'm trying to say, Mr. Speaker, is that the process for the transmission of this budget complies with the provisions of the law as stated in section 121(1)(b) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. Mr. Speaker, having said that, the provisions of the Assembly also, as regards a House rule, has been complied with too. And so, and by IPSA's, demand or standard, the International Public Sector Accounting Standard, the budget was explicit. They were precise in determining the means of the funding of the budget. It is not just a budget of speculation, it is a budget that has specifications. It's a budget that is drawn from factual expectations of the state. And so, Mr. Speaker, I am saying that this budget also passes SEFTA's standard. On the grounds of appraisal, Mr. Speaker, it is a common knowledge that budget performance of this state is not also something that you really need to bore anybody with. We are a practical state. A state, what is done is seen to be done. Whatever that is said to be done is seen to have been done. Whatever that is contained in the budget performances of the previous appropriation law, through our oversight, we were able to ascertain the fact that they were actually done. We, as a House, approved also the audit report of the state. In all sense of it, we've really looked at everything we are supposed to look at to score this budget highly. They passed the previous budget.
Thank you. Yes, Deputy Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Kinsley Obonna Ikoro, member representing Afikpo Northwest Constituency and Deputy Leader, Ebonyi State House of Assembly. Mr. Speaker and my colleagues, I don't think I will bore us enough with a lot of speeches in this budget, because as His Excellency was presenting and reading the budget, I took time to go through it. There are two cardinal things I noticed in the budget. One, I saw a man with a passion for development. I saw a man who is a prudent manager of funds. And Mr. Speaker and my colleagues, these 2 points are very cardinal and important. Because one, for any meaningful development and economic activities to take place in any community, state, or country, there must be infrastructural development. That is the first step for economic activities to take place. And in this budget and in the past budget by His Excellency, I've seen it. If you go around and go through it, you can see the provisions that they've even gone further to allocate empty lands in the international market for people to come and build, probably to their specification or specification given by the state government. Mr. Speaker and my colleagues, that is development. It means that he is exhibiting the true leadership quality of building for tomorrow. A good leader builds for tomorrow, not today. If you go for His Excellency, you can see somebody who is prudent in managing resources. I can tell you, we were here last year and we saw the budget performance, and as the leader rightly pointed out during our oversight functions, we saw that various subheads and heads were actually executed according to their specifications and value in the budget. Mr. Speaker, at this time in our country and state, what we need are prudent manager of funds. And I think His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, has exhibited that. Not to bore us much, I will urge my colleagues to make sure we give this budget a speedy passage, because it is a budget that will help the future of Ebonyians. I so submit, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Umahi, representing the wonderful and excellent people of Ohozara West. Our people say,
no dilatory motion.
Meaning that when your kinsman, your brother, gives a fascinating dancing step, that your heart gets enlivened. And so I rise this morning to bow to a fascinating son, a wonderful son, and a father. His track record for the past 6 years says it all, because a good wine needs no bush. He is a gift and a donation we have made as a community to Ebonyi State. It has taken it far, far, far beyond our imagination and expectations. So we take a leap further to donate him to Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, going backwards, seeing from 2015 when he got sworn in, his first budget, second, third, fourth, and fifth, it has been praises, wonderful achievements, and when you put it side by side by checking the mega resources that come to Ebonyi, one gets fascinated, one gets marveled, and he continues to up the game. By the achievement of this year, he surpasses it the next year, and he does the unthinkable. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to support this budget as presented before us, that the House do allow it pass through third reading. And it is christened the budget of the letter rain. Yeah, the naysayers, the unbelievers, the doubting Thomases, the idol worshippers, whatever name they call themselves as a party, may think it is a magic. Yes, let it be a magic. But to us, we see miracles every day. And the miracle of the letter rain shall be greater than the former. And so shall it be, and so submit.
Let's give time and opportunity to the Democrats. The leader of the Democrats. Yes?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues. My name is Chris Osolo. I represent Ezza South. Mr. Speaker, I rise in line with our extant laws, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to support the Chief Executive of this state in this appropriation bill. Mr. Speaker, when I was listening to him, he made mention of payment of pensions. Payment of pensions, contrary to speculations outside. So I was surprised. On investigation...
Let me make that clear. Okay. Payment of pensions is ongoing. The government since 2015 is not owing any pensioner. The pensions he said we revisit is the one that the government of 1999 to 2015 owned. That is the one we are owing. And it's the implications of being a governor. That's why he said he will revisit it, because he accepted responsibility of being a governor. And that's why he's revisiting it. It's the debt of the states.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My speech is in form of commendation. I'm commending him for that.
I made that comment because I don't know where you're coming from.
Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I want to equally say this budget is budget of promise fulfilled. During his campaign in 2015, he told his people that before he will hand over, he will give them a higher institution. And it is here now. So I want to thank him.
But you never promised airport.
I'm talking of the one you promised.
But airport is there now.
He promised us higher institution, and it is here now. So I'm thanking him for that too. And I want to say that infrastructurally, he's perfect, and I appreciate that. That I'm in a different party does not mean that when I see the truth, I will not say it. So I want to thank His Excellency. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Chide Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Right Honorable Chidi Ejem. I represent the strong people of Afikpo Southeast Constituency, EDA. Mr. Speaker, I join my colleagues to support the passage of this appropriation bill. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, we all know that presentation of this budget, of this appropriation bill, is not really the matter. Passing it to the law is not the matter. What matters most times is accessibility, how it's been assessed. But in Ebonyi State, as we all know, In other states, it's always very difficult. You can pass bills, you can present budget, pass the budget, but at the end of the day, nothing comes out. But the product of Ebonyi assessing the budget, that what gives birth to the infrastructure development we are seeing everywhere in Ebonyi State. So we say a lot of kudos to His Excellency. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, I want to say, I might be a bit personal, I want to say as how it concerns my own local government. I want to say it loud here that we are so grateful, we are proud, we thank God for His Excellency.
But you are not showing that.
Mr. Speaker, I am showing it. I don't need to be where you think I should, where you want me to be before it's being shown. I'm being where I'm supposed to be and where I'm being voted in to be.
Should I take it that you're a member of the
Mr. Speaker, hold on. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues.
Distinguished colleagues, I think Right Honorable Chid is making a motion that he had joined our party.
Never. Mr. Speaker, no. Don't go there. You are very far from the truth. Mr. Speaker, I'm only appreciating His Excellency for the good job he's doing in the state and in my local government. It might interest you to know that since the creation of the world, I'm able to say that because my grandfather told us there was he never witnessed any tarred road or concrete road in our community. My father, before he died, never witnessed. But I'm proud to say today that a concrete road is ongoing in my community where His Excellency calls Justice Onyemenam Road project. His Excellency, our people are grateful. Thank God that my council chairman is here. But what we are pleading, as we are thanking you, and as the House is also, we believe we're going to work very hard to make sure that this bill will give it an express passage. We plead that the road did not stop halfway where it is now, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
We believe it is ongoing and it will get to a KJN. My chairman is here. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Your Excellency, and my dear colleagues.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Right Honorable Mrs. Frank Oko, representing Abakaliki North constituency. I want to align myself with what my colleagues have already said, with little addition. The addition is that since 2015, the budget of Ebonyi has been always a reality budget, in the sense that any budget that is presented to this House and approved as a law is always put in practice. Recently, we passed a budget, a revised budget, looking at the percentage of achievement. You know, in a school system, if a child scores up to 60-something%, that grade is already B grade. And since the inception of this government, 2015, the score has been always above B. And if a child scores above B, A or A+. So I am supporting my colleagues that the budget should be allowed to pass the second reading on the fact that it has been a budget that is always put in practice. Not after passing it, it will be done aside. Because most of the time, you observe that a budget after passing cannot reach up to 30%. But we have never seen a budget that is passed to the law in this system of government that has not attained up to 60-something%. So I am supporting what others have said, that we should be allowed to pass the second reading.
Thank you. Humphrey Muruku.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues. Engineer Muru Humphrey is my name, representing the good people of Ikko North. Mr. Speaker, I want to align myself with the previous speakers that the bill be allowed to pass second reading. Mr. Speaker, I want to also appreciate His Excellency for the good work he's doing in infrastructure and empowerment, mostly women, widows.
You have stopped your own work now.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I want to sincerely advise, yes, let's please. This is not, it's not here that's supposed to say it, but I have to say it. We are working for the good of the state, both PDP and other party members.
Point of order.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I want to just say this thing. Please, yes, let's say,
yes,
for
leader.
God's sake, please.
Yes, leader.
Let me talk. Let me complete.
Rule number 54.
Order what? Order what?
Order. Distinguished colleagues.
I did not observe.
Leader, Humphrey, sit down. Leader, I observed you.
Thank you.
Raise your point of order. Okay, Murga hereby ruled you out of order.
Do I continue?
No, I have ruled you out of order. Yes, I am pious.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My distinguished honorable colleague, Honorable Mazi Olivosi, PhD, I represent the great people of Igbo constituency. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleague, you know I'm always very factual. The budget has been very factual. As they say in law, res ipso loquitur. The fact speaks for itself. Particularly, what interests me the most is that when you go to page 4, it talks about our state being the most prudent state. And particularly, again, being a state that is the least borrowing state in the Southeast. That has gladdened my mind, because the saying goes that these that goes are borrowing, goes are sorrowing. And for the fact that the borrowing has been channeled into our own infrastructure.
Which borrowing?
I'm reading from what...
read, let me hear.
He said, okay, the least indebted state in the Southeast. That's
yeah.
So,
you say that the least indebted, but he who goes for borrowing goes for sorrowing.
I said our state,
and
Mr. Speaker, hear me well. And I'm glad that our state is the least indebted state. I said that gladdens my mind.
Go ahead.
It's on that point that I'm arguing that our state has prudently utilized the fund that we approved here for the governor to use in infrastructure and other amenities.
Which loan did you approve?
Mr. Speaker, we're approving budget.
Okay.
We're approving the budget here.
Budget is not loan.
And there is a borrowing plan inside the budget.
Budget is not a loan.
Allow me, Mr. Speaker, I have the floor. I have the floor, please.
Thank you. Yes, Ngozi Ezolo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. My name is Lilia Ngozi Ezolo. I'm representing the good people of Africa Northeast constituency. I rise to align myself with previous speakers that the bill be given express passage. I so support. And Mr. Speaker, I have an appeal. For we the Democrats, Mr. Speaker, you don't shut us down when we want to talk, Mr. Speaker.
You have made your point, and I say
give us listening ear because we have good points. The governor of the state belongs to PDP and APC, so you don't shut us down. He is our governor too.
Yes, Honorable Victor Adekin.
Thank you, the right honorable speaker.
Right Honorable Victor Moke, member Ebonyi Northwest Constituency, otherwise known as Isheke Mbomeze. Mr. Speaker, rising to leave my voice with the voices of other speakers, I wish to support the budget be given a speedy passage, owing to the fact that this is the first time government is thinking towards bringing institutions of higher learning to Ebonyi North Zone, which is the University of Technology or whatever.
Ebonyi State University.
I would wish, Mr. Speaker,
Ebonyi State University is situated
I know
in
you will
Ebonyi
shut
North.
me down. I know
Why
you will shut me down.
do we allow you to lie? You can't lie
You
now.
will do it, but
Well, distinguished colleagues, I think you've done very well. I've given the Democrats time and opportunity to talk. The only time I breach what you are saying is when you get out of point, because our duty here is to talk about the budget, and only the budget. That is what we are discussing in the second reading of the budget. And what we should be talking about is the content of the budget. That is what we would have centered our own discussion. So once you get outside this content of the budget, definitely will be ruled out of order. But out of my own magnanimity, I decided to interject you, thinking that you will readdress or readjust your seats, without knowing that many of you are already carried away by your political party. I'm very sorry for that, for those that have been offended. But majorly why I say all of you must speak is to know the value, why we must be with our leader. Not solely that you are supporting, you have no right, you have no strength to oppose the leader in this assembly. You are not only minority, it's all recognized minority, so you have nothing to do. We are not afraid of you. It's only when you are decided to be recognized that you can be recognized. We have absolute majority, 2/3 majority of the House in one party. What else do we need? Do we need you to pass anything? We don't need you. It's decide to come, you come. If you don't want to come, you stay in your house. Your seat will be declared vacant.
it's not true, Mr. Speaker.
So it's certain. You can't just come and tell us that you come, you want to talk. It's only when you're giving opportunity to talk that you talk. So it's not as if we are begging you to talk. We are not subscribing that you should come. We even want you not to come, so that we'll create more seats for others to come. If your seat is declared vacant, our party members will come and occupy that seat. So that's it.
It's not
So
true,
it's
Mr.
at
Speaker.
your own good. It's your interest to come, and they are protecting your interest. So distinguished colleagues, we've done very well as regard to the discussion in the budget, and I know very well that we know the content of the budget, and the content has speak volume. The development we've been able to see, and a lot that His Excellency has enumerated that is coming in 2022, a lot of ongoing projects that this budget can help to complete. The economic value of Ebonyi State has been briefed up, and we've seen it last years, and we're expecting more, better economic position in 2022. And with the implementation of budget, as we pray to God to give His Excellency the same brightening face and love, so that when he sees Mr. President will approve more money. Your Excellency, sir, some people say that, Mr. President, why did you ask Mr. President to give you money to complete airport? We, the representative of the people, say we need the money, sir. We need the money to complete the airport. Even if Mr. President like to give us money, let him give us. He has been giving other states. We've seen so many states that got money from him. So we need money from Mr. President. That money is from the central box, so it's not owned by anybody. So those that castigate or those that criticize on that point, we know they are very envious. It's not as if they have a substance in what they are saying. So don't listen to them. We urge you to continue persuading Mr. President to help us in completing that airport. That airport is dear to us. We must complete it. And we say, instead of you not to complete that airport, we don't need stadium. We need the airport to be 100% completed, because that is where we want your name to be written. That airport will be named after you if you complete it. And some said we name university after you. We boast to say it in 24 hours. He who wants to answer any of our infrastructure, please go and build your own. We'll name that infrastructure after yourself. Some have been a governor, they couldn't put flyover on their domot, but somebody is putting flyover there, and they join those that are castigating that the security of the state is being handled perfectly to criticize the state. I say sorry to them. When they will come home, then the insecurity will visit them. That is what they are subscribing for. And those that subscribe for that, if they get it, is he wrong? So I think this budget will do well in handling the matter very well. And I think distinguished colleagues, His Excellency has done a lot of work in this budget, and we looked at it. We have our copies. We've been able to look at our copies for so many days now, and it's what contains there in the copy that contains in this box. So we are very much sure that if we help His Excellency in passing this budget on time, definitely the implementation will start first week of January. On these notes, I try to let me put it to votes to know those that will say yes or no, that this budget do pass second reading. Those in support that this budget pass second reading say aye.
Aye.
Against say no. The ayes have it. This budget is hereby passed second reading and is committed to the committee, to all the committees, and they are only named the chairman of the committees, Works and Transport. The chairman of Works and Transport is Honorable Victor Al-Chukwu. The chairman of Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters, Honorable Anthony Oimbenwegede. The chairman of Public Accounts, Honorable Onwonye. The chairman of Housing, Honorable Honorable Mrs. Chinwe Nwachukwu. The chairman of Agric, Honorable Benjamin Ezoma. That housing is Land Survey and Housing, Land Survey and Housing. The two ministries, Honorable Chinwe Nwachukwu. The chairman of Information, Honorable Chinedu Ona. The chairman of Power, Honorable Chinedu Awo. The chairman of Project Monitoring, Honorable Humphrey Wuruku. Chairman of Infrastructure Concession, Honorable Joseph Onono. The chairman of Women Affairs, Honorable Lillian Ngozi Ezulo. The chairman of Youth and Transport, Honorable Kizito Ale Okechukwu. Chairman of Education, Honorable Christian Osulo. Chairman of Health, Honorable Victor Aleke. Chairman of Environment, Honorable Oliver Osi. Chairman of Culture and Tourism, Honorable Chidi Ejem. Chairman of Establishment and Capital Territory, Honorable Chief Nkemka Onoma. Chairman of Justice and Judiciary, Honorable Friday Lanis Nguho. Chairman of Appropriation, Finance and Appropriation, Honorable Ikoro Kensele. Human Capital Development, Ije Odunwa. Commerce and Industry, Chukuma Igwe. And Honorable Arinze Chukwu is the chairman of investments. Thank you. The Leader of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues.